program is an SUTV production. The views expressed are not necessarily those of Salisbury University, the University System of Maryland, its regents, administration, officers, employees, or representatives.
Hi, and welcome to Sports Night. I'm Travis Nardella.
I'm Amir Carter.
I'm Will Lovington.
We're going to start off with some Salisbury sports. The women's lacrosse team starts off on Sunday with a home game against Roanoke College. Last season, they went undefeated and won the national championship.
On Saturday, February 8th, the Salisbury men's basketball team beat number 12 University of Maryland. Excuse me. The University of Mary Washington, 81-71. Dominic Milburn had 27 points and 6 rebounds. The two teams continued to go back and forth in the beginning of the game, ending the first half 32-32. In the second half, the Seagulls kept battling and created a 10-point lead. Senior Tim Hardwood had 16 points in the second half, ending the game with 19, while freshman Gordon Jeter registered a double-double with 11 points and a game-high and career-high 16 rebounds. The Seagulls are on a 5-game win streak, and during that span, they have beaten 4 teams that are ranked higher than them in CAC. On Wednesday, February 12th, they will play number 6 Wesley College to try to continue their streak.
The men's lacrosse team started their season on a high note. The number 4 ranked Seagulls opened the season on the road, defeating Greensboro College soundly 14-3. Leading the charge were senior attackman Rhett DePaul and senior midfielder Donovan Lang with 4 points each. The Seagulls will play the first home game of the season when they host number 12 Lynchburg on Saturday at 1 p.m.
All right, guys, so how do you feel about the NFL season? It's over now? How do you guys feel?
It was a pretty disappointing season.
I would have to concur. Coming from
Why
the NFC East.
why disappointing? I liked that. I thought it was exciting.
It's just a bad season, and the Super Bowl was bad just to go along with it. Everything was bad.
It was hyped to be such a great season. There were so many great young quarterbacks, and it just ended up being a disappointing season. Going into the season, a lot of people picked Denver Seahawks Super Bowl, and luckily we did get that. Unfortunately, we didn't get the Super Bowl we were promised, and it ended up being a blowout.
But I think how everybody's been talking about is just like offense this and offense that, and offensive players and defensive teams being lower, not as good, having able to keep up with this new style of play. It's less physical now. It's more like you have guys who are 5'7" who are your best receiver on the team. And not like back in olden days where, bigger and stronger were the best. So I liked how a defensive team got to show what they can do on a big stage. So I'm not going to say that was the best Super Bowl ever. I would have rather Peyton Manning trying Richard Sherman in the corner on DT, and Richard Sherman does a pick six to win the game, something like that. But it just shows how dominant, the defenses can be, and that defense will continue to get better just as offense will.
Yeah, the last couple times that the number 1 offense was in the Super Bowl were the 2007 Patriots. They lost to the Giants, and the 2001 Rams lost to the Patriots, and now the Broncos losing to the Seahawks. So offense doesn't always guarantee you a championship.
Exactly. But I feel bad for Peyton Manning because I wanted Peyton to get a Super Bowl, because that would have ended the Tom Brady discussion with him. But I don't know what. I hope he passes his exam in March because maybe he might go back to the Super Bowl because that team is still not. I don't think they're losing anybody. They might have a couple free agents there, but I don't think anything like big losses happening. So we'll see what happens.
The big loss they're going to have though is Eric Decker. Might be testing the waters in free agency. I'm hoping the Redskins might try to get him, but
we'll see.
I hope Peyton Manning does come back for at least one more season, and hopefully he can get another ring.
I think he signed like a 5-year deal, right? 5 years. 5-3, something like that. So
I think it was 3.
3? Okay.
I think 5 sounds a little bit too much.
It does for his age. You're right.
Yeah.
And the neck
For his age and his neck, I think 5 is a little too much.
Yeah.
Well, the money was not too much because he had $96 million. So, okay, so the draft's coming up, and there's a lot of Clowney going first, or Bridgewater, or Johnny Manziel. Who's going to be number 1?
I think they're going to take Teddy Bridgewater. I still I like this year's draft because there's no clear number one. Like
Exactly.
past years in February, we already knew who was going number one. But this
Exactly.
year, there's still a lot to be done.
I think this year's draft, it's less about which player is the best, and it's more about which team needs what. And I think the Texans, with the number 1 overall pick, their biggest need right now is a steady quarterback, because Matt Schaub just isn't getting the job done. He had a couple years to do it when Peyton Manning left Indianapolis, but now Andrew Luck is a clear contender, getting that division every year. So I think they have to try it again with a different quarterback, and I think that's either going to be Teddy Bridgewater or maybe Johnny Manziel, depending who shows up in the combine.
So Matt Schaub is still with the Texans, though. So if you're the Texans, would you, like, if you get Teddy Bridgewater, he's gonna be wanting to start now, and Manziel is probably gonna be a project in the NFL. Would it be smarter to get Manziel? And because what if Matt Schaub comes back and but not saying that's gonna happen, but. And if you have Manziel, that's something you can work with. You might make some money off him or something like that. So should they just get Bridgewater and say, if Matt doesn't do good, this is our guy, and that's how it's going to be?
There are so many talented quarterbacks that are going to go in the first round, and there are so many teams in the top 10 that need quarterbacks. There's Bridgewater, there's Manziel, there's Derek Carr from Fresno State, there's Blake Bortles from Central Florida. Really, any of those guys can go to any team.
And just be so. Do you see any of them starting next year and putting up numbers and being like rookie of the year, like leading their team to at least a winning season?
Whichever quarterback gets drafted to the Browns is going to start, but I don't think they'll be rookie of the year because it doesn't.
Not even the Texans. I would think the Texans will have. I mean, they have with Arian Foster and then Andre. I mean, they're kind of a little older.
Yeah, depending on who the Texans draft, because they could draft Manziel and he could end up being a bust, like I hope he is. But then they could, they can go with Bridgewater, or they can go with Blake Bortles. I like Blake Bortles a lot. I think he's going to be a good NFL player.
I think if you want to get a rookie of the year from the Texans, they have to shatter all their standards going into the season, because you have a talented team around you with Arian Foster and Andre Johnson. So it's not like when RG3 or Andrew Luck came into the NFL and they didn't have great talent around them. They were starting completely over. They didn't have prospects around them to build up. So I think.
Or at least young prospects.
Right. I think if you get the quarterback on the Texans, he has to shatter all records.
Shatter all the records
to be rookie of the year.
Okay, but I disagree with the Browns, because with all the CEO and GM, everybody fired. I feel like the Browns are gonna be like. I think Johnny Manziel probably gonna go to the Browns.
That is because they were talking about that earlier. They were saying, like, yeah, we might even like trade up to number 1 to try and get Manziel.
See, I don't know. With Johnny Manziel, it's like I want him to do good. I'm not gonna lie, because I hate to see people hype us up so much in college and then get to the league and be irrelevant. Like Reggie Bush almost does that. Like Reggie Bush was almost probably one of the like greatest running backs to ever play in college, and then got to the league and then was like, okay, he's a college player. Like
Heisman winners don't normally.
Yeah, but Reggie Bush isn't a Heisman winner anymore.
Yeah, and he's doing all right for himself in the NFL. Heisman winners don't normally have success in the NFL. If you look at the past Heisman winners that are in the NFL now, Tim Tebow.
Yeah, Troy Smith, who's irrelevant.
RG3 is doing pretty well for himself.
He's doing good. Cam, you know.
Yeah, Cam Newton is pretty good.
Hopefully Jameis Winston does good, because I don't want him to. Didn't Matt Leinart win one year?
Yeah.
Matt Leinart. See, look. Okay, that's not good.
The USC Heisman winners are having the bigger problem.
Yeah. O.J. Simpson. That's a whole other story. But so I think Bridgewater's the best quarterback out of them, but I don't think he's gonna go first. As in, I think they might pick Johnny, because if you think about it, you bring Johnny into your team, it's gonna be so much hype. There's gonna be so much excitement, and if he comes to a rebuilding team, I think if he doesn't do as well, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna be like, oh well, he's trying his best in the team. I think if he was going to a team where like they had the weapons and they needed a quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater would be the best person to go in that situation.
And the Texans could also just decide that Matt Schaub is okay and draft Jadeveon Clowney. Can you imagine a defensive line with J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney?
That's why I think the Texans should do that. I think that's because they have J.J. Watts on one side and then Jadeveon Clowney. That's not fair, because J.J. Watts is already They're already saying he's going to be the best defensive player ever. And then Jadeveon Clowney, they said that. I didn't agree with it because the man's been playing for like 2 years. And, I mean, he's went to the Pro Bowl twice, and he has the best surfboard celebration in the Pro Bowl. But Jadeveon Clowney, with him on the other side, I think he's ready to do damage in the NFL. Because like that last season, I did not care about it. If I was Jadeveon Clowney, I probably wouldn't have cared either. I mean, Pete Carroll proved that when you pay your players, they love you more. Because he got in so much trouble and so much flack about being a USC coach and them getting paid, goes to the NFL, can pay his players, and they win. And Jadeveon Clowney is like, yeah, okay, I'm sick of just playing for free when everybody's making money off things I do and talking about me and my school making so much money. He goes to the NFL, he can get a big contract and just take over.
Yeah, Jadeveon Clowney has been ready for the NFL since National Signing Day when he signed his intent to South Carolina.
I think it was actually a little bit after that because I saw him playing the Under Armour game. He was real good.
Yeah.
But after that one hit he made, I think they should have just let him be eligible. Right after that. I mean, he has the size, he has the speed, he broke records, and if he stayed till like one more year, he probably would have broke almost everything possible.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, they're going to triple team me now. That's why I hate it so much. They talk so bad about him, but if I'm the best player on the team, no coach is going to allow me to do the same thing I did last year. Right. We saw that with Adrian Peterson. I know he was struggling with injuries, but everybody knew that the Vikings aren't going to beat us with that one man this year. So he took a lot of credit for being, just everybody, the spotlight's on him. When the spotlight's all on you, it's different. It's not like basketball where Michael Jordan can still drop 60 points a night. Football is different. We create schemes to attack you and run away from you the whole game. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
So what are the Giants going to get, Travis, in this draft?
I'm actually very excited. The past 2 or 3 mock drafts I've looked at, the Giants are going to get offensive tackle. My favorite offensive tackle, Taylor Lewan from Michigan.
Okay.
Favorite player, favorite team, going to my NFL favorite team. That would be awesome. I would be okay with that. They need offensive line.
They do, because Eli needs protection. Okay?
Yeah.
But I love Eli, but he's not top 5 quarterback.
I
He's
love
more
Eli.
like top 25.
Top 10. Top 15.
All right, I'll give you top 15. Will, Redskins, what do they need?
A team. They need a line and they need a defense. But right now, I think the main focus is going to be their secondary because D'Angelo Hall by himself isn't getting the job done, and they don't have enough young talent around him to compete against some of the top offenses. So they definitely needed to rebuild their defense and start working on that offensive line again. I think the skill offensive positions were set. We've got RG3, Alfred Morris, and our receivers are pretty decent, and we might be looking to get Eric Decker in the offseason from what I've heard. But I think our main focus is going to be defense.
That would be a nice addition. You said defense?
Yeah.
It seems like the Redskins is always one major. It's always like you have this, and that, and then one thing y'all are missing just ruins everything. Some teams, like, their weakness is, like, hidden, but with Redskins, it's like everybody exposes it. So sorry about that.
I'm used to it by this point.
Pittsburgh, I feel like I'm already hurt that we lost Mike Wallace. I think that was the dumbest thing. I think we should have gave him his money. He deserves it. He's arguably one of the best, receivers. And they said he's the fastest man in the NFL, which, I don't know about that, but he got speed. So, and Ben Roethlisberger, you can't count Ben out. Ben may be the worst quarterback one week, but he can do what Nick Foles did, or better, and throw for 8 the next week. I guarantee it. And Antonio Brown and Emmanuel Sanders. So we just need our defense is old. That's the major thing. Like Troy Polamalu, I love him to death, but he's old. I think he's done 10, maybe a little bit more years in the league. Ryan Clark, Ike Taylor. I mean, these guys have been the best corners in secondary for the decade. And, okay, that's good, but we need new guys. I think we need, like, a younger secondary. And then I heard we're bringing in a new linebacker, so that'd be good, too, to help us out. But, yeah. So, speaking of Ryan Clark, he talked about marijuana being legal in the NFL. What do y'all think about this?
I mean, there are so many NFL players that are getting suspended for marijuana use that might as well just, why not?
It just seems like another reason to get them in trouble, but it's not that big of a, like they're missing what, like 1 game?
Yeah.
2 games for this? Like, it's not like they're trying to legalize steroids. And
there was like talk about legalizing it for players with concussions.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Okay. Players with concussions.
Yeah.
Let's make that. It was
I
for
think
health reasons.
if you
Yeah.
introduce it into the NFL in moderation,
Yeah.
then I'd be fine with it. But I think there's just it's become such a distraction in the off season because you know on every team there's somebody who's going to get busted for it going into training camp, and it's just a matter of who and what the discipline is going to be. So I'm really sick of seeing some of my favorite guys like Trent Williams got caught a couple years ago, and we missed him for the last few games. So it's just become such a distraction that I think you have to start introducing it, at least in moderation.
So Denver and Seattle being the only teams, areas to legalize weed has nothing to do with this, right? They're not just saying that because in Seattle and Denver, they're allowed to smoke, and they're like, oh, they went to the Super Bowl, so they must be doing something right. It has nothing to do with that, right?
No.
All right. I'm just making sure because it's way too ironic. Like now you want to talk about it when that happens, but I know Percy Harvin has something to do with this because at Florida, he had no migraines, and then he got caught with a drug test going into the combine with lowered his draft stock. Next thing you know, he has more migraines, he's getting more concussions, and he goes to Seattle, ironically, and ends up being a key factor, even though he played 3 games. So I think they're doing their a lot of. If they do their research and find a smart way to do this, I have no problem with it. But
Yeah.
I feel like some way somebody's gonna ruin it. I feel like some player, there's gonna be some no-name player on some team that nobody's gonna even know who he is, not even position. He's gonna ruin it for everybody. That's what I'm scared about. I don't want that to happen. And not to like Michael saying, we could talk about this a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, I have no problem with it. That's great. He's doing him, and his teammates support him. But the thing that I'm interested about is the reactions, because even his father didn't have I'm supporting my son all the way. His father said he was against it. It wasn't even, he said he's just a traditional. He said man, women.
Right.
And he said, but he's happy for his son. So I like how people aren't just, lying. Well, I'm not going to say lying, but, giving the answer that we want to hear. People are being honest, and they're saying it might be awkward in the locker room. It may cause problems, but Jerome Bettis said the most important thing is if he's okay with his coaches and is accepted by his position group. That's the biggest thing that matters, because it doesn't matter if the cornerbacks don't like you. You're not around them. If the D-line that he plays with respects him and looks at him as just another player that's doing well for the team, I think there'll be no problem with it. And in the
Yeah,
organization.
because he told all of his teammates at Missouri, like back in August, before the season even started, and they had a normal season, everything went as planned. They had a really
Exactly.
good season too. But like going into an NFL locker room with a bunch of people you don't know, it could be a little different. But it would be very important for a team with really good leadership to draft him.
Exactly. I think that you need that. I think the Miami
Yeah.
Dolphins would be the worst.
Yeah,
Team
and
to pick.
props to him for coming out before getting drafted into the NFL, especially after the incognito and
Exactly.
Martin situation. So
Not
props
just-
to him.
He said he didn't want to make it seem like they were taking his secret and putting it out for him. He wanted to make sure he
Yeah.
put it out. So I like that a lot. He didn't want to be the player who they just came out of nowhere and said it, and now he has to explain himself.
Yeah.
It's more like, this is my decision, and I'm going to move forward with this, and who's going to stop me? So
Yeah.
hats off to Michael Sam.
Yeah.
Now to the NBA. So Will, Pacers, Heat, who's coming out the East? Because I think those are the only teams contending right now, because the Bulls are out of the question. The Knicks, sadly, are way out of the question. The Nets are too old.
The Knicks are only 2 games out of the playoffs right now.
But Melo's not even coming back, so it doesn't matter. Melo's not coming back. We'll get to that later, because I got something for y'all. But, so, Will, Heat, Pacers, who coming out?
Between those two, I'm gonna have to go with the Pacers. I think the Pacers, given a 7-game series, I think the Pacers are gonna have the Heat number.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think the Pacers are the better team, and I think they're going all the way this year.
Let's think. They got the best center in the league, arguably the best center in the league, Roy Hibbert. They have Paul George, who's becoming like top 5 in the NBA, in my opinion. Who else they have? George Hill, Lance Stevenson. So they're balanced. I think Tyler Hansbrough's still on the team too. So he's a key factor. And but I don't know. It's just you just can't count the Heat out, especially adding Greg Oden and Michael Beasley and Roger Mason Jr. to the roster. It's like, okay, they just keep reloading. It's like the Heat. Okay, D-Wade. That's the biggest thing I think. The most important thing is how they handle without D-Wade being in the equation, because D-Wade is not going to be able to handle a 7-game series with the Pacers. That's going to be physical. That's going to be fourth quarter comebacks, and it's not going to be no lucky. It's going to be like playing. That's basically the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be NBA. That's going to might be more competitive than the actual finals because with those teams being on that level, so much hype, there's pressure on LeBron, and the Pacers they're the number one, but we all know they're still the underdog no matter what.
Yeah.
It's Miami Heat, and the Miami Heat, I don't know, they have so many shooters though, so I think it's going to come down to how Roy Hibbert and David West are treated, because if Miami can handle them in the paint, I think on the perimeter they'll be good.
I think, well, with the Eastern Conference being so bad, I think that they should just cancel the first round and the Eastern Conference quarterfinals and the Eastern Conference, cancel how many rounds there are before and just go straight to Pacers Heat. Because no one else is going to even
The Pacers
question.
got the best record too, I think. I think they're number one.
Yeah.
So let's see how the Heat handles it. Now, say Pacers win, or Miami Heat go off and win and they lose in championship, whatever happens, whatever the outcome is this the end of the Big Three era? Are we saying goodbye to the Big Three and looking at LeBron or D-Wade or Chris Bosh looking at something new?
I think LeBron James is going to stay in Miami, but I think Chris Bosh is leaving.
Okay, Will.
I see Chris Bosh leaving.
Okay, you see. Okay, I disagree with both of you because I think the player that everybody's worried about the most is Dwayne Wade. He had his knee surgery. I mean, come on now. Dwayne Wade is 32. He has 3 championships. He's proven himself in the league. If D-Wade becomes just another player in the NBA, I mean, that's not big of a deal. I don't think he's going to be satisfied with his legacy. He's going to move over. LeBron James is the one who's probably going to be worried the most because they're comparing him to Michael. I mean, they're trying to say he's the best player ever, and they keep arguing this. So I think LeBron is either going to leave or the Heat are going to trade or give away Dwayne Wade. Even though he's the hometown favorite and they love him, he might move over to a team like Chicago or another team who could use a older superstar. Because Chris Bosh, who can do what Chris Bosh does? There's only another power forward, and that's Kevin Love. And he's still not like Chris Bosh, though. I think keeping Chris Bosh would be smart and looking for another 2-guard, maybe in the draft, who comes out and you can mold him or somebody. So I think either LeBron's going to leave, maybe go back to Cleveland, because they have a new GM. I think they got a new GM.
Yeah.
And so that guy hated LeBron. LeBron comes back. Kyrie Irving gets his ring that he promised to Cleveland, like an idiot. and LeBron gets the biggest home city happy. So I think either LeBron's going to leave or D-Wade. I think they're going to keep Bosh. I like Bosh.
I think if LeBron could end up leaving and going somewhere where and not bring a couple of his buddies and make another Big Three, if he can go somewhere and be like the biggest superstar there and win a championship, I think you can talk about him being in consideration with Michael Jordan. But if he stays in Miami and the Big Three era continues on for however long, then he's not in contention for that title. But so it all depends how he does with his contract.
I think he's going to do the opposite of Jordan because Michael Jordan kept some of the best players ever from winning rings. So I think LeBron is going to be the opposite and
He's going to tour with the best players.
So he might team up with Melo. He might team with Melo, win a ring. He might team up with Chris Paul, win a ring. Get all his boys that he plays with on their All-Star team, win a ring, and they win a ring together. He'd be the hero. I don't care. If he does that, I don't know how it's going to happen because I don't know you're going to pay all them people. But if LeBron James gets Chris Bosh, D-Wade, Melo, Chris Paul,
John Wall.
If he gets go to the Wizards, maybe I don't think KD wants to play with LeBron because KD has his goals and something else. But I think if that happens, I think LeBron will be the best player ever, or the nicest. So KD, is he the MVP? He's the MVP. You can just say he's the MVP.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what do you got at Russell? Because I don't think KD, because all the
KD's
games
still
KD
MVP.
has scored his highest, Russell has not been in the equation.
It's still KD.
I don't know. I think Russell Westbrook's going to mess
If
it up.
Westbrook can come back and KD still averages for at least 2 games.
What's he been
if he
averaging, like 38 the past
If he
couple
averages
games?
that many points still, then yes, he's the clear-cut MVP. If his average goes down significantly, you can talk about it in conversation with some other players. But if he stays up at that level, it's KD with that,
Yeah.
no question.
Yeah, because LeBron's having a good season, but it's not like like last year where he was just like dominating field goal percentage and all that. Yeah. So I like Kevin Durant. I want Kevin Durant. If Kevin Durant wins the NBA Finals over LeBron, I would not be mad. Plus, he's from Maryland, so that's even better.
Right.
So Maryland would probably go crazy over Kevin Durant winning. He'd probably give out free sneakers, and I'm gonna be first in line. But the one player that I'm worried about It's not Kevin Durant. It's my boy Carmelo Anthony, who right now is not the best scorer in the league. He's second best. I'll give KD the best scorer in the league right now. I think Melo is going to go to the Bulls. Either the Bulls or the Lakers. It has to, because the Bulls, you would think about getting rid of Luol Deng, and then they didn't keep Andrew Bynum, they cut him. And then Derrick Rose is, fishy. But if you look at the Bulls, they always needed that other player who was a dominant, legit scorer. Like, they had the point guard, they had the people down low, they have the great defense. Just bring in Melo. He doesn't have to play defense for the Bulls. He can just shoot. That's all he has to do. Spot up, Melo for Chicago.
I really hope he stays in New York. But if he leaves, then the Knicks will just go and win a title with Tim Hardaway Jr.
That's not going to happen. I like Tim Hardaway Jr. a lot, though.
And, apparently the Knicks are back in trade talks with the Nuggets to bring in Kenneth Faried.
But why would you do that with Amari?
I don't know.
Back.
See, the Knicks are dumb. That's
No,
what
it's
LA
not
do.
for Cleveland. It's Iman Shumpert and Kenneth Faried.
Oh, okay. I like Shumpert. Shumpert's nice.
Yeah.
But okay.
He shaved his head, so I don't really like him that much anymore.
And then so LeBron, do you guys see the dunks he did?
Yeah.
That was, he threw it off the wall, and when he just tomahawked. Like, why is he doing this? Why is LeBron teasing everybody? Like, why is he? I honestly think that his expectations in the dunk contest are too high, and that's why he's not going to do it. Because LeBron James would have to jump over like 3 cars for us to be like, okay, he's great. Like,
But the thing is, he can do that.
3 cars, Will. Look, I don't think if LeBron did the dunk contest and his first dunk was like normal, he could do a 720. Everybody be like, man, that's okay. Like, he could do better. Like, I think his expectations are too high, and he's scared he's not gonna meet it because he already went through that before. He went to Cleveland, and his expectations from 18 was to bring us a ring, and he failed.
I don't think he's scared that the expectations are too high in a dunk contest.
Okay, maybe scared's too strong of a word, but I think he's like, he doesn't want to get into the point where, like, if he doesn't do great enough, I don't think he wants that pressure. I think he's worried about bigger things. I really think he'd rather not do dunk contest and win a ring than win the dunk contest and everybody talking about, oh, he could have done better. Or what if LeBron James loses that's embarrassing.
Well,
I'm sorry. If LeBron is the one player in the NBA who cannot lose a dunk contest or he's going to be clowned. Like, Blake Griffin can lose and be like, oh, okay, he tried.
Well, I'm starting to lose interest in the dunk contest because in the past couple of years, the dunks have been so-so, but they're still getting like really high scores on these dunks. Like it's
they're not being
it's like a normal dunk and they're getting a perfect 50. So I feel like if LeBron James does the dunk contest, he can do whatever he wants and he'll just get a perfect score for it. Like he can do the cliche Michael Jordan jump from the foul line and he'll get like an 80 for it out of 50.
Well, okay, we can talk about the dunk contest this time because actually I like the people that with Damian Lillard, John Wall. I hope John Wall wins. I love John Wall wins. Paul George is in it. He was in it last year. I don't know what Paul George is going to do. I think he might win. But they need to have, I wish they could just cancel that, have LeBron James, Blake Griffin, Paul George, and if Russell Westbrook was healthy, Russell Westbrook. I think that'd be the best dunk contest, arguably the best ever. Because all them guys, we look forward to them dunking because even all the greats have dunked, so we need all the superstars.
I'm looking forward to All-Star Weekend this year more than ever because I want Damian Lillard to win all 3.
If he wins if Damian Lillard wins all 3, I think he's the best All-Star ever to ever play. Forget Michael Jordan. Michael never did that. He's in every challenge. That's got to be tiring. He'll probably win the skills challenge.
He's gonna win the MVP for the Rising Stars game. He's gonna win all 3 competitions Saturday night, and is he in the All-Star game?
Yeah, he's in the All-Star game too.
And he's gonna have an all right performance in the All-Star game.
And then Kevin Hart will be the MVP for the 2 Chainz needs to play because 2 Chainz played. He almost played college basketball. He should be in the NBA right now.
Well, I think Kevin Hart already won the MVP for the celebrity game.
Yeah, the past. Yo, you talking about just already?
Yeah, so
they looked.
already
Yeah. Kevin Hart could not even play 1 minute, and then be like, yeah, he won.
Yeah.
So, Marcus Smart got suspended. How you guys feel about that?
It was really stupid
It was.
of him to do that.
I don't know. I don't think you can call it stupid because a 50-year-old man yelling at a 19-year-old.
Oh yeah, well yeah, definitely.
It's a heat of the moment kind of thing, but it's something you expect more from
Yeah,
college basketball.
I would rather him get real mad and just like throw a temper tantrum, and then explain what happened. Then he shouldn't have put his hands on him, but I understand. I'm not gonna say that that's what he should have done, but I see where he was coming from, and with the story being so shaky, you don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, that fan already said that he's not going to any more Texas Tech games.
Exactly. So he seems suspicious, but I think we'll end the show right there.
Yeah, that's all we have for tonight. I'm Travis Nardella.
I'm Amir Carter.
And I'm Will Lovington.
Have a good night.